when you recognize what you love, you recognize who you are. That's a vibrational match to your core, your S.
Mm,
When you start doing that, you will start radiating yourself. You will start shining your colors, and you will start to have an effect on your life
mm.
and on the way you see life. You will start to see the colors around you.
Pause. Take a break. Reflect on life. Your moment of greatness starts now.
Mirror Talk. In this episode, we'll be embracing a life of confidence, joy, and peace, and also unveiling our life's beauty and magic. She's a musician, she's a performer, she's a meditation guide, she's an entrepreneur, and the author of You, Me, and All That We Are, which is coming out on July 10th. Welcome to the show, Emma. How are you doing?
Thank you, Toby, for that beautiful introduction. I am well, thank you. A little bit nervous and excited about my book launch, of course. As
Yeah.
you can imagine, it's my first book. Um, and I'm well. I'm in my home. I have my son in the room next door. It's been told not to disturb. And I have my dog here. I have. It's quiet. It's rainy outside, so it's good to be inside. And
Mm,
I'm very happy to be here with you and talk about all things magical
yeah. I,
in our
I'm
lives.
so glad that you are here also. But I would like to first ask a question. How does it feel like to release a book to the world? Like, how do you feel at this moment? Countdown to this is the 4th of July at the time of recording. How does it feel like counting down to the days, minutes
Yes.
of release?
Yes, I have started counting down on the social media, for instance. But yeah, it's like a pregnancy. It's ready. It's time to let the book out there.
Mm,
Um, I have been releasing little tidbits for people to get the flavor, but there is a wholeness and a story and a message or information in the book that I really would love for people to absorb, and I'm hoping only hoping that I've been able to convey it properly.
yeah.
And that's where the nervousness comes in. What if they don't see it or get
Mm,
it?
yeah.
Because it's a book, it's a testimony which I've aimed or dedicated to my son. He's 17,
Mm,
and his peers and the parents, hoping to invite them to discover how they can learn to thrive in their
mm,
lives. Because my journey was one from fear to empowerment and joy. And I want to share this journey.
mm,
Uh, and I know that what I've learned and what I've absorbed on my journey is something that can help other people because I've worked with clients in this. And we'll get into this later.
mm,
I'd love to share a bit about that as well
yeah.
because working with people at an intuitive level, which is what I do, I opened up to my intuition, to my ability to see
Mm,
and to sense energies and blocks in people's lives and especially the hearts, the beauty in the hearts of people. And I see how the work that we can do at a spiritual level, at a higher level,
mm,
has such an impact on people's ability to embrace themselves
mm.
and to start to heal and to move forward. And this is where I've been hoping to convey in the book. And I'm a little bit excited and nervous to see how it will be received if I manage to convey what I want to convey in it. So that's where I am at the long.
Yeah, I believe people are going to as every listener or reader will pick up the book and see what you're trying to pass across. Because even while preparing for this conversation, I got to know that I mean I don't know the all of your story, but like from the little I was able to read and find out, I was like, yeah, you went from a very dark place to becoming who you are today. That's a very transformative journey that you went on. And one thing that stood out to me from the beginning of your journey was that you never felt at home at one place at a time. So I was like, oh, how does that feel like not to feel at quite at home in one
Mhm.
place?
Well, it feels uncomfortable, of
Mm,
course. It feels better you don't belong. And I think we all sort of long to belong somewhere. I know that a lot of people, a lot of sensitive people have this feeling.
mm,
But of course, for me also, I'm bicultural, so I'm half English, half Norwegian. But and I've lived abroad. I've lived in Cuba. I've lived in the US, and I've sort of had more of a global feeling.
mm,
And my life, my upbringing here in Norway was mm, a little frightening to me because there were certain ways that you had to be. And I know this happens all over the world, probably, but to me, I never felt I could manage. I didn't have the cultural equipment or the tools or the know-how to navigate, I thought, in the right way. And I turned out to be quite a shy girl in the beginning,
mm,
or quite early on. Not in the beginning. In the beginning, actually, I had a lot of energy, had a lot of fun, and then it started. Changed school and changed location, and things became very different. And there was some upheaval in the family, and some addiction problems in the family, and all this caused um, me, I think, to close up
mm,
because I was, as many other people I think that are listening to you and that I hope will be reading the book, are sensitive to these things. And when you're a sensitive being and you're not taught that you can be a strong sensitive being, meaning empowered from your heart, from your core, because that is who we are. But we're taught to do things in certain ways and taught to hold back our power. And then the sensitivity sort of leaks out, I find. And I find that people get exhausted by catching all the signals, all the disturbing and unbalanced signals of people who are in pain around them without being able to strengthen their core so that they can withhold themselves. And this is where I was.
wow,
And that's when you feel estranged because you're not at home in yourself.
mm,
I
yeah,
don't know if that made sense, but
yeah,
of course, every time we're taught a certain way from our childhood,
mm,
certain way to be a human being.
mhm,
We're taught to behave a certain way as a woman
mm,
or a girl. I was taught probably a different one from also from a different culture than
yeah,
yours.
yeah,
Um, but um, also what is common sense, what is rational. You shouldn't make too much noise, for instance, in my culture.
mm,
Whereas as a child, you want to make noise because you have such a lot of expression, a lot of power, and you're still in touch with the magic of who you are.
mm,
But you're being taught by people who have been here before and who have been taught by their peers and their parents or carers and society that this is too
mm,
much. So you hold back. And that causes a lot of stress. Holding back that power is exhausting,
mm,
and it wears you out. And I think a lot of the fatigue that you see a lot of people struggle with today might have to do with that. I haven't really looked into that, but um, it would make sense to me.
yeah,
Uh, and I think it got me to a very dark place of fear. I was afraid of making mistakes, of doing something wrong. And even when I was playing music, because I studied classical piano,
mm,
um, and became a performer, and I performed for many years with the classical music with brilliant soloists, opera singers mainly, and I was fearful every time
mm,
because I was terrified making a mistake because I was not owning it.
mhm,
I could not express myself.
mm,
I'd been taught to hold back
mm,
and try to do it the right way so that I could be accepted and fit in.
mhm,
And then I started opening up, and my son came into my life. I got pregnant with this with my now ex. We were together for 10 years and we had this beautiful son and started opening up something. It
mhm.
started warming up and reminding me that love is part of my
Oh yeah,
too.
that's so beautiful. Yeah.
So yeah, it was amazing. Even though I did not have a life that was void of love, I had parents who cared for me,
Mm,
and my mother's still alive. She still loves me, but feeling that unconditional and the access to that beautiful, powerful love in me wasn't,
mm,
because I did not give it to myself.
yeah.
I was pushing myself down all the
All the
time.
time. Yeah.
And then when he came into my life, I started uh, wanting more. Now, not wanting more things necessarily, but although sometimes that can be discarded as wanting more things, right? When you long for something, you
Mm,
try to fill it up with something else.
yes.
And I did it in different ways. Um, but I realized that there was more that I wanted to be and express myself. I knew there was more of the music in me that was different,
mm,
that I had an expression that wasn't coming through
mm,
because I was fearful.
mm,
And so I started searching, and I ended up in this school in Norway, this course that taught us to listen,
mm,
to tune in, and to open up to our gifts, our ability to connect to the divine,
mhm,
to Mother Earth, but also to our greater wisdom, to our intuition that lies in the part of us, the soul part that is beyond and more than our physical selves.
mm,
And I started practicing. I started with the course for 2 years. I started taking on clients. I did another course in theta healing as well. And I've continued the investigation. And every time I investigate, every time I meet an obstacle, and I still do, and this is also in my book, I had a big transformation last year that I was, while I was writing this, and I thought, how can I convey, how can I have to actually manage this transformation while I'm writing about him. And actually, I hope I managed to show that even if you're at the greatest high, you can sometimes stumble upon a big rock and fall. But if you have the tools, when you recognize yourself, you can find, you can recover, you know how to come back to yourself and rise again.
yeah,
And I find every step we do, and with me and with my clients and with other people I know, every step they do in their search, looking for something that is closer to their own heart and truth, every step makes you stronger
mm,
and wiser and more joyful.
yeah. That's the beauty of a transformative journey. You become, or even experiencing life in general, you become much more better if you take the lessons along the line and move on. Yeah. There was something you said earlier that I really resonate with, and that's about, no matter how beautiful your environment could be, sometimes there are some norms, there are some things that society places on you that places you in a shelf, cages you up. And if your true self is not matching up with the norms of the society, your true self will keep on fighting against it, and that stresses you up. Like you said, like you start feeling stressed, you start feeling out of place, you start feeling, like you don't belong basically to that society. And one has to truly tune in, like you said, like I just learned right now, tune into yourself, tune into the divine, to God, to your creator. And that way you can align yourself back to who you truly are or who you are meant to be. Yeah. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Thank you for noticing while doing that, in fact, because um yeah, when you learn to tune in, it's a practice. It's like practicing a new muscle,
Mm,
and start recognizing. But the one thing that I've learned that is the sign, and there are many people who speak about this,
mm,
the biggest sign that you are actually in touch with what yourself is if you feel the joy at
mm,
some level.
mm,
Like I felt a lot with my son, and I still do. Or and the more you do that, the more you start recognizing other things that give you joy, and the more you start to honor that and bring it into your life, it becomes this beautiful spiral of, uplifting yourself.
mm,
But our norms, and this is what I think a lot of our illnesses, our pain, and our tensions come from, is the mm, the distance between what we learn and who we are.
mm. Yeah.
And we all learn patterns that do not belong anywhere in our nature because we've gone off trail for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the. Okay, let me put it this way. If you start to understand and embrace and accept that, wow, okay, I am a soul, I'm here to explore,
Mm,
then it becomes interesting more than overwhelming or something that has a hold on you and brings you down.
mhm,
The difference, the contrast or the obstacles that the physical realm and the teachings that are sort of away from your truth,
mm,
the distance between that and between who you really are becomes very interesting. You start to wonder. And you start to observe from a different place so that it's easier also to resolve and release and come back home. So and all these things are things that I talk about in the book.
Yeah.
And I think the most important thing that I've learned and I try to share is investigating it. Be curious.
Mm.
Who are you? What's really going on? What is this?
Yeah.
What is this emotion? What's going on? Where is it? You know? Why?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Um,
Yeah, I think we come
yeah.
from a long generation of people who did not really ask questions, just, inherited things, inherited patterns, and, gave it on like that. And at a point, you notice you are misaligned totally from what is meant to be, in a sense. And that's why I'm happy that you, as a mother, you are questioning the things, you are going through the theta healing, for example, you are doing the meditation guides, and you're helping people, to get back in line with themselves, with who they are meant to be. That's really wonderful. Yeah.
That's the aim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's the work I do.
yeah. One thing I'm very curious about, because I am not yet a parent and you are a parent already. You talked about, having your son brought you so much joy and made you want more, want to express, connect with that love that you deserve. How does that feel like? How does having a son, transform your life or put you on that transformative journey?
First of all, there's a person who is completely dependent on you.
Mm,
So you have to be there. You have to hold this person. Now, I know some people suffer from depression after doing that. So this is that's something else to deal with. But this child is so innocent and so open. And I think that we have this archetype of mother love, I think, or father love in us that gets ignited
oh,
when the child comes in, and it
okay.
holds responsibility, it holds protection, it holds all these beautiful qualities that enable us to do whatever it is to protect this offspring. But the love is, of course, more than just protection of the offspring. It's a recognition of another soul.
Mm,
This just came to me now as you asked. Thank you for asking.
awesome.
Recognizing, because I recognized him before he came into the world. I
Mm,
recognized him when he was in my tummy, and I talked to him,
mm,
and I said, we've got this. We're going to do this together. There was some turbulence in my surroundings at the time.
mm,
His father and everything going on around, not the keenness of it. and I was sort of, okay. I didn't know the name yet. Okay, little boy. I knew it was a boy actually. Um, we've got this,
mm,
you know. And I think also what happens is when they come into the world as children, they're so open and they carry the light with them so strongly
mm,
that they have the ability, I think, to somehow remind us at some level, even if we don't recognize this or understand this in ourselves,
mm,
to remind us of where we come from,
mm,
to remind us of who we were. And to me, at least, I was ready then for to open up. I think that is part of who I chose to be, what I
mm,
chose to do when I came to this world. I I've chosen to be a healer. I've chosen to find this light, this strength, and this um, awareness in me. And it was time.
mm.
Now, I was quite an grown up mother. I was in my late 30s, so I'd been through all the chaos and was still in chaos, but I was ready.
Mm,
Um, and that feeling of the warm embrace of completely holding this child, I cannot explain it other than that it's warm, it's grounding, it's magical in a way. It's complete connection,
mm.
and this especially I think I don't know how fathers they have a different type of experience, but as a mother you have it sort of from your body and in you.
Yeah,
It's very symbiotic in the beginning.
yeah.
Um, this connection between my son and I has stayed with us. Now, I have to say, I had my times of um, fear as a mother as well,
Mm,
and I'm not handling anything very well, and I'm not doing the right things or saying the right things. We all do this because the child also is teaching us to be a parent.
mm.
and having to try and accept that you're not perfect, that you're still learning, and that it's okay to fail.
Yeah.
This soul is strong. This soul knows what it came for. Now, not condoning any sort of aggression or abuse for a child. So that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about now. That's a different matter. And that should be dealt with. But making mistakes, frustrations, fear, anger out of some sort of a pain because we've not resolved everything in ourselves yet, must be forgiven in ourselves. And then every time you manage to come back to the love, yes, for yourself, that's the bigger lesson that I experienced,
Yeah.
but I managed always to come back to love for my son, no matter what I did. And I think I've managed to ask for forgiveness every time I've stepped out of line a bit too far. It was especially in this turbulence that we had with the breakup in my ex-home. And it's a little hard to admit because we want to be perfect as parents.
Yeah.
We want to devote everything.
But no one is perfect. Yeah.
No one is. And that is the self-love that I had to start to embrace also. So not only did he remind me of it, but I had to, in order to be the best mother I could for him, I had to embrace the love for myself and forgive myself for the mistakes. That was in the past, we're here.
Yeah.
I can hold you now. And just learning that, you can bring it into other aspects of your life as well.
Yeah.
It's in the past, we're here. Let's align now. And I can feel goosebumps all over me when I talk about it because this is very, very, very important information that I sort of sense here. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I've learned from you right now from this conversation is, yes, we always have our fears. We always have, we are not perfect, so we make mistakes. But being intentional about going back to love, embracing self-love, helps us to get rid of the failure, or not the failures, the fear, and also helps us to forgive ourselves, forgive other people that might have offended us also, and then focus on the now, on the present, aligning with the present day right now. Forgetting the past, or maybe not forgetting the past, but learning from the lessons of the past and using it to improve yourself for today.
Yes.
And that's, I think I quite understand a little bit why your book is a very heartfelt letter to your son. Your book titled "You, Me, and All That We Are." I love this title so much. I mean, yeah, I can't wait to get a copy of the book. You, me, and all that we are. Yeah, it sounds like you, my son, me, the mother, and everything that we are. Our mistakes, our flaws, our beauty, our magic, everything.
Everything, body, soul, mind. I mean, embracing all of the aspects. Now, yes, it is dedicated to my son, but it's also to his peers and to parents and to anybody who seeks. So it's you, me, and all that we are as well.
Yeah.
So it involves everybody who reads it, you, me, because we are souls, all of us. We all have this duty. We all have this ability. We're all children of someone. We're not all parents yet in that sense, but we are or should be parents to ourselves.
Yeah, true. I believe that.
Be a mother to your own heart. I just had a client yesterday. He was suffering from fatigue. And what came in, because I work with images, I get these images, and there's always information in the images that shows me what the imbalance is and how we can start to resolve it. And it was so clear that when her children came into the picture, the energy of the children, the love flowed. And immediately the information said, bring that into yourself as well. Be your own mother as well as your sons. And that, I think, is part of the gift that having my son can. Now, you don't have to be a parent to give that gift to yourself.
Yeah.
So it's available to all of us, but that was my breakthrough. Or the beginning that I breakthrough. Yeah.
But I'd like to ask a question to that. Like, are there some things we can do to become parents to ourselves? Like, what can I start exercising right now so I can be a good mother or a good father to myself?
So there are very many different angles to it, and I it often comes up when I do a reading for a client,
Mm,
but it always comes up in a slightly different way. But I know there are some techniques that people put out there, such as imagine yourself as a child.
mm,
Imagine that you are in a position, in a situation where you feel fearful, or you
mm.
feel alone, or you feel you need someone to hold you. And imagine that you step into the picture, you sit down,
Yeah.
and you look that child in the eyes and say,
Mm,
I got you, I'm here.
mm,
Come into my embrace.
mm,
That's a very powerful, beautiful. That just came up
mm.
as an example since it was.
Oh, yeah.
The other one is to um, simply feel what it would feel like to be more in the embrace yourself. What would it feel like to have a warm, solid, strong mother, Mother Earth, mother, come and
Mm,
really hold you in her big
mm.
embrace? What would that feel like?
Beautiful.
What you do is you give yourself that comfort and give yourself that support,
Mm,
and you realize that that support is available no matter who you are.
mm,
And we lay if we spend too much time in our especially after our childhood and youth, longing for or blaming the parent for not being able to do that, we miss that.
mm,
We won't get it. They won't change it. That story won't change.
mm,
Now we can work with it. We can repeat it. We can try to heal it and fix it and all that. But the biggest healing is when you start bringing it into yourself,
mm,
shifting the focus, as we said, into what does it feel like to be embraced. And maybe the tears come. Maybe you're all. I know a lot of people suffer from not having been held in that way because their parents have been suffering as well and had that pain. Um, So sometimes the tears come or the body reactions come when you start releasing that sense of lack or fear of not being loved as well as other people suffer from.
mm,
And that's okay. Hold yourself even more. That's when you need it more.
mm,
Or see the child crying, sit down and I got you.
mm,
You're with me always. Another, if you have that image of the child and you're holding that, very often when we work energetically, that child we bring that child up into your heart so that you sort of embody the child and you grow that you become the adult version of the child, but you carry the child with you uh, in compassion.
mm,
And why that happens very often, and I don't do these things necessarily consciously. It happens in the images, the energy, the soul shows me.
mm,
Why it happens often is because when we've had disruptions as a child or as a youth, or even as an adult, but it usually starts very early in the childhood. All these we repeat what's happened when we're very young in different ways. Uh, our development, our organic growth
mm,
gets disrupted. So that when you bring that child in, you start to heal that step that you missed.
mm,
Because what you are focus if you focus on yourself as a child in a situation where you felt lonely or in pain, you are intuitively going to a place that you know was stopping you at some level, that you're ready to heal and release. We do this intuitive, all
yeah.
of us.
Yeah.
We know. Our soul knows what we need.
Mm.
We just need to ask.
That's true. Tune into yourself, yeah. Connect with your soul, and your soul will tell you what to fix, what to do
Yeah.
to become
Yeah.
better. Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. I've learned so much from you already, and
Oh,
I'm very curious. I would like us to look into your book a little bit. I mean,
mhm.
your book is divided into three parts. You have the Master Yourself, Master Your Life, and Master Transformation. Also, I would like to just learn how we could use all of these three parts on our journey towards, becoming better beings, on our transformative journey to becoming masters of life, or to even discover ourselves even better, like we've talked about.
Yeah. It all works together, of course.
Mm,
Uh, it starts with yourself. And this is why I started with the story of myself. Now, the first part is actually written a few years ago, and then it stopped because around the time COVID hit,
uh,
I suddenly abandoned my manuscript, and I don't even remember why, but it might be because I suddenly had the vision of the projects I want to create about making a peace center for children and young people, in which I'm still working on. But then about a year ago, someone I was working with said, "Why don't you write a book? Then you can sort of show people what your work is." And I started writing the book, and I went to save it, and I found another manuscript with the same title, and I found that old manuscript that I'd started, and that became the yourself bit, the first part, manage yourself. Um, it was much more focused on what I came from, the fear that I came from, but also on how I started to transform that fear. Now, the second part had a little bit more about navigating more in bringing this out into the world, starting to share, starting to make my own music so that I can start to express myself, which I did. I released my first album, solo piano album,
Oh, nice.
during COVID.
Yeah.
I didn't get to perform it because everything was closed, but but I released it. It's out there on Spotify and everywhere else, and and then uh, and then the last bit, the transformation bit, was the bit I just mentioned a little bit earlier. When I had a year, this last year, actually 3 years, because there was illness in the family as well. But especially this last year, where I had to move from where I was living, well, everything shifted, and I stumbled upon this block, this transformation, and I fell flat on my nose. And as I was writing, I had to get myself up again, and I knew how to do it. And that was the transformation bit. Now you need to handle yourself in order to find a way to embrace the transformations in a different way than the reactive way that we tend to do when we're not in touch with our self-love and our essence, the inner peace. Um, so starting by listening to, where is my sense of joy? What is it I like and love in my life? How can I enhance that? Remind myself of it. You can write notes on the fridge, or you can do the practical exercise. I'm a very practical woman, as well. You can do practical exercises. Write it on the mirror. I am enough. Whatever, or put a little notes in a box of things that you know that you like and that you have done well, so that you can bring them out and get that sense of joy every day. Um, and you will strengthen your own sense of connection to who you are. Because when you recognize what you love, you recognize who you are. That's a vibrational match to your core, your essence. When we start doing that, you will start radiating yourself. You will start shining your colors, and you will start to have an effect on your life. And on the way you see life, you will start to see the colors around you. I couldn't appreciate beautiful nature before, because I was too absorbed in my own fear and worry. And now the beauty around me is easy for me to drink in, if you will. Those are different things altogether. And then when you do that, you start to strengthen your ability to also handle the strife, because we're the tension and obstacles, because we're physical beings, we're infinite beings in a physical body. It doesn't quite match.
Yeah, it doesn't match. Yeah, that's true.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I believe once you're able to do this also, you'll be able to create even deeper bonds with your loved ones, with your
yes,
children
yes,
or parents.
yes,
And yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And at least you can buy. Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes you have to let go. People don't. Sometimes people are not willing to meet you where you are.
That's
That
true.
can be painful, but you will gain people who are willing to embrace all that you are.
True. Yeah, I think when I think about people, I think about it as, we are all on different paths of life. And if I'm on my path and I'm aligned to my purpose and you also align to your path, it could be that we could align at some point and move in the same direction. And it could also be that we could just cross paths for a while, a year, 2 years, 10 years, 1 week, 1 day, 2 seconds.
Yes, exactly,
Depend.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I've had some of the most beautiful experiences. You're just meeting a stranger's eye and smile.
Mm. And you're like,
In fact,
wow, that was beautiful.
wow, yes, that did something in that moment.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome. So, for listeners that will be picking up your book from the 10th of July, what is one thing you want them to take home or want them to, really take from the book from reading it?
I want them to understand that they have the answers in themselves.
Mm,
Or I want them to at least investigate that
mm,
and start looking up to it. And that there are ways of finding those answers that other people can help you with
mm,
and that you do by searching around. But your truth is only your truth.
mm,
So any big revelation that anybody else has, including me, is not your revelation,
mm,
but they can be a guide on the way
mm.
until you listen within and find your colors.
Oh, yeah. Find your colors. Yeah, find your colors, unveil your life's beauty and magic, and become your true self and connect with your soul. Yeah, and create even deeper bonds with everyone around you that matters to your life. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
I love that so much. And where can we get the book? Is it on Amazon? Where will it be available?
Yeah, it'll be on Amazon, and
Mm,
it'll be you can get it through bookstores as well
mm.
because they order it
Oh,
when you if you want it. So,
yeah.
but it'll be on Amazon from July 10th,
Oh,
and unlimited.
awesome. That's great. Yes. So anyone who is listening to this, maybe from the 11th of July or anytime, just go to Amazon and get the book. It's titled You, Me, and All That We Are. It's a very wonderful title and surely a wonderful book that will transform your life and even show you how Emma was able to go on this transformative journey also. That's something to do. Yeah. So out of curiosity, I would personally want to learn from you. Like I know you're a meditation guide and you do theta healing also. So I want to know how meditation, creativity, like a classical pianist, how has all of that contributed to your continuous journey of helping and creating a better life?
It all has to do with listening, and it also has to do with honoring whatever I mm, want to express, or rather, what I feel flows naturally to me in my expression. So
Mm,
when I started creating my own music instead of playing for others, I had to learn to listen to my tones.
mm.
It was really hard because I wanted to make something spectacular and big. I didn't know
Yeah.
where to begin. And I started, and I write about this in the book as well. Ended up, okay, I'll just start with one tone and see where it goes.
Mm,
And that is what I am discovering to be a strong principle that helps in all my life.
mm,
Take that one step,
mm,
that one tone, write that one word that becomes a sentence, that becomes a paragraph, that becomes a book.
mm,
Um, do that one thing and see where it takes you. And if you have a vision or a dream or somewhere you want to go, listen to it and ask yourself, what is one step I can do now? That's all you need to do now, because then you start the move.
mm,
So that has been also a very, it works together for me.
mm.
It's part of who I am. I am many things, as you've said, and music is part of my expression. Words is so part of my expression. And it all comes together in a flow when I remember to listen.
Oh, yeah. Listen, that's a key word. I'm taking that with me. I'm going to listen to myself and
Yeah,
listen more to,
exactly.
yeah, what is meant. Yeah. Awesome. And that thing that, you talked about already, and we talked about even before we started recording, is about your mission, to open a center to help. So I don't know if you could shine some light on that and
Yeah.
what's your inspiration behind starting out this mission?
My inspiration, it's interesting. It's actually a story where it was just before COVID hit. And my mother was in France and she was staying with a friend who was looking after a chateau, castle in France. And she said, oh, we'd actually seen this. We'd visited the people who owned it once. And she said, oh, it's for sale. It's only whatever it was. And I said, aha, we'll just have to win the lottery. And just in that instance, a mail came up
Mm.
advertising to buy a lottery ticket.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, okay, this is a sign.
Mhm.
Now I didn't win the lottery, but, and that's the point, I took it as a sign
Mm,
Because what happened then, as the moment I took it as a sign, my imagination and creativity started to unravel a concept.
Mm.
And it's grown for a long time. Now, it's taken a long time, partly because we had some trauma in the family that I've had to deal with my son's father and with illness and other things. But this is a good delay because it has helped me to develop it. It has to do with creating a beautiful space in a beautiful building or safe big building in France
Mm.
or central in Europe, where I invite young people and children to come and work with us with their own culture, with their own songs, with their own colors, and together create a festival of celebration of life that with music and with art and with homegrown organic food and with joy, with dance,
Mm.
um, so that the children can experience, hopefully, that all the beauty and power, or at least start to experience the beauty and power that they possess, all of them.
Mm.
Uh, and the ability to express this uniquely for them
Yeah.
and in collaboration.
Mm.
And then, of course, bringing in parents and mentors who can collaborate with them and learn from them, but also guide them in different directions, whether it's corporations or piecework. So
Yeah.
this is my little contribution to piecework. And it started with that one sign.
Mm.
So I'm saying to everybody, if you're looking for a sign, just ask for a sign, and whatever comes to you is your sign, because you are looking for something to remind you of what it is that you really want.
Mm.
Uh, and it doesn't matter that it seems weird. It's your sign.
Yeah.
And this project is going to happen. I'm not giving up on it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to expand it as well, both online and in different centers. So,
Yeah.
because I believe that the young people today and the children coming now, they are so strong. They have so much to give.
Mm.
And it's time we allow their power to come through, that we don't stop them or hold them down. Their energy needs to expand and flow because they have so much love in them.
Yes, that's very true.
And I would like to take part in showing the world this and helping them
Yeah. That's a very
to.
beautiful mission. Yeah. Yeah. I love that so much. I love that so much. And I pray that you are able to fulfill this and continue doing it for even generations to come so that they can also be, liberated from their shells, from their, engagement and express themselves. Yeah. Yeah.
I hope so. Thank you. I know that you also do some beautiful work for children, and
Yeah, I mean, some
yeah,
kind of charity giving out to orphans in the orphanage. That's why I really like what you do also, because it's all in the same line, in the same way of
yeah,
giving back to the
yeah.
community, making people, putting smiles on people's faces and helping people have a better life generally. That's really beautiful. Wow, Emma, I've really enjoyed this conversation, and I'm sure there are people out there who might still want to speak with you, maybe ask more questions. What's the best way of reaching out to you? What's the best way of working with you?
The best way of reaching out to me is through my website, emmarowena.no. Though I am no Norwegian, thus no, so not com.
Ah,
I am on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram as well, Emma Rowena.
mm,
And to work with me, anything from groups wanting to do workshops to tap into intuition and powers and empowerment, to individual readings. And again, that's interesting. I just wanted to say that part because I missed that a little bit earlier. And I said starting with warm tone and one. When I tune into a client or to a group, I always ask for the first picture and I follow that picture. The one first picture, it can be an abstract picture, it can be a color. That's how it flows. And that is such a signal to me that, so for anybody reaching out to me, it will evolve. You can also book me for meditation groups or individual meditations. I work with couples. Yesterday, I had two friends who wanted to reading, both of them at the same time, or they wanted to listen in on each other's. And then I, of course, I perform. I play music if you want music.
yeah.
piano music or vocal music as well.
There's a lot that you offer, and that's the beauty of it. Like a lot of value to offer
It's
to the
on my
world.
website.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm,
already
I'm,
there.
I'm going to place a link to your website in the show notes of this episode. So I encourage everyone out there who is interested in one thing or the other, especially the book, You, Me, and All That We Are. Just click on the
Yes.
link or copy the link in the show notes of this episode and get all the details that you need to get the book and to reach out to Emma directly. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Emma. I really appreciate this conversation. I've learned so much from you, and I believe everyone who listens to this also, or has listened so far, has learned so much also. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Wow, you made it to the very end of this episode. Thank you so much for listening. I'm grateful for your time, your love, and your contributions. Subscribe, like, review, and share this podcast. God bless you. Bye. Bye.